G'day there, guys. Where would I be if not for... G'day there, guys. This voice is powered by Strepsil's throat lozenges. It's your main man, Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Thank you. Posted by user ThrowawayDiscu4916, titled... Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé to stop blaming our kids for ruining her body? So my fiancé, 46 female, and I, 48 male, used to both be fitness enthusiasts. She used to go to gym with me all the time, and we shared passions in mountain biking, CrossFit, and were competitive rowers from our college years onwards. She used to take pride in the fact that she would push herself to the limit to keep up with me fitness-wise. However, after our 4-year-old and 3-year-old girls were born, my fiancé began saying that using the elliptical and treadmill at the gym already constituted pushing herself to the limit. She was having troubles with her miles of extra skin. Her words, not mine, and said her gym rat days are over. She ended up gaining weight, had spider veins, and would say that she was now mama to her kids, and that I say I want a sexy partner, not just a mama, but refused to plan a wedding. In these past 4 years, she's bought more and more into what I saw to be very tacky mummy motivation YouTube channels and online magazine subscriptions. Started joining a bunch of support groups and attending working mother summits, even though she hasn't worked in 6 years. All that's okay, but one of her mummy friends who runs a local women's wellness magazine asked her to do a shoot about empowering mums' bodies. She and about 19 other women ended up having pictures taken of their so-called tiger stripes and talked about embracing their mum bodies. I didn't check out what was put out until I logged onto social media today and saw my wife tagged in her picture, and I felt like what I saw was just a whole lot of indecent taste. There was a picture where the 2 kids' feet were resting near where my fiancé's stomach's crepe texture started. My fiancé wrote an excerpt about how she used to be an avid rower and never shy in a bikini, but for the longest time after the kids, she ached everywhere and could barely get her excess weight and skin into her leggings. She said she felt undesirable, like she felt not valuable because she had lost her beauty and fitness. But then she tries to dispel it all by saying that she realizes that her kids don't care, and think that she's beautiful, and that her body made her proud to be a woman because it housed her kids for 9 months. I confronted my fiancé and said that it was one thing to not feel like a woman, but to essentially blame our kids for ruining her body when she made that decision as an adult with free will was horrible mothering. She yelled that this wasn't what she meant, and that she was saying she's grateful her body gave us children. I said that obviously the picture with our kids' feet around her stomach was pointing out the cause of her ruined body, and it couldn't be more obvious. Am I the a-hole for thinking that she needed to hear that she can't blame others, when if she really ruined her body, that was her own decision, not my kids'? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I might be the a-hole for using words like tacky and cringeworthy, but I felt like she's just airing her own negative feelings out to others who probably don't want to hear about it. The problem with your argument there is that it's so obvious that people do actually want to hear about it, and if she's been put on a magazine, that should really make it obvious her story and words are empowering. She seems proud of herself and accepting of her body changing. You may have a difference of opinion, but instead of encouraging her or attempting to understand her point of view, you've decided to attack her for it. More often than not, when you have kids and your body changes, you don't get put on a magazine. It seems as though you feel embarrassed that she was quote-unquote aired out to the world and not hidden like everyone else gets in one way or another. It's okay to have insecurities. It's not okay for your insecurities to manifest in attacking her insecurities. That's toxic, and anyone could see that. Get some help, OP, and get some empathy too while you're at it. Now in the comments, BabyBella92 says, "You're the a-hole so much. Your wife is trying to feel secure in her body, which has changed after having kids. She's trying to be proud and feel empowered by her body, and you're being a jerk about it. At the end of the day, having your kids has changed her body, and by the sounds of it, her mindset too. Which isn't a bad thing. OP needs a come to Jesus moment. Yikes. You're the a-hole, and I hope you end up with a crepe-textured stomach. What does that even mean, Lamau? I can't tell if this is a joke post or if OP is extremely ignorant and rude. Reading the title, I first thought that they would tell us about how his fiancée openly blames the kids for her body, but reading this made me feel disgusted by OP. She's being proud of her body, the body she used to give you your kids. You're the a-hole, OP. Poor woman who has to be with a partner who clearly doesn't appreciate her body and what she's done to bring something so precious as kids into their life. You're the a-hole, OP. And MM172 says, you're the a-hole and I'm pretty sure you know it. First of all, why are you calling this her decision when she didn't get pregnant on her own accord? Second, do you have a problem with her body or not? If not, then I don't know what the hell you're so upset over. She doesn't look the way she did pre-kids, and that may have been difficult for her to cope with. But that doesn't mean she's lying when she says it was worth the trade-off the way you seem to think she is. If you do, and I think it's pretty clear what the case is from your fixation on her stripes and crepe and all the other stuff that makes her pose that you probably wouldn't have thought twice about before her pregnancy seem tasteless to you now, then you're the one trying to blame the kids for your issues, and you need to knock it off. Also, what's this about you not wanting to plan a wedding? You know there aren't any actual points in the a-hole bingo, right? Posted by user, Am I the a-hole Food Bank? Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my dad to swallow his effing pride and go to a food bank? So my 17 female, mum, 33 female, she had me at 16, left shortly after my little sister, who was 2, was born. I also have a 5-year-old brother and a 3-year-old sister. We haven't heard from her since. My dad, 34 male, owned a small business that went under a few months ago due to the shutdowns and has had trouble finding a job since. Right now he's working 2 minimum wage jobs trying to support us, but that barely covers the mortgage and our car payments. I ended up dropping out of high school so I can take care of my siblings and to get a job. I got a great job as a nanny, and they're letting me bring my siblings since they're the same age as the kids, 5 male and 3 female. I've been paying for all of our healthcare. I have ulcerative colitis and my brother has type 1 diabetes, so that crap is expensive. My car, and half of our food bill, and any clothes that my brother and sister need, and occasionally some new toys for them. I know for a fact that we qualify for financial aid at the hospital that we go to, and maybe SNAP benefits or food banks. It would make things so much easier on all of us. My siblings and I don't eat healthy. Most of what we eat are those bulk bags of cereal at the grocery store and dollar store pasta with beans or sometimes eggs or meat. It's gotten to the point where the family I work for got started giving us all their leftovers so we can eat somewhat healthy. I talked to my dad about financial aid at the hospital, and he actually agreed to it, but when I brought up SNAP benefits or going to food banks, he completely shut the idea down. He kept saying he doesn't need help getting us food, and he survived without food stamps when he was our age, so we should too. I lost my temper and yelled at him, "Swallow your effing pride and go to a food bank because 2 crap meals a day isn't cutting it." He yelled at me to go to my room, and now we're not speaking to each other. Am I the a-hole for yelling at him? No, I think this is a wake-up call that he needs. And yeah, yelling can make you an a-hole in some situations. I don't think this is one of them. Sometimes you've got to yell to just make it known you care enough for real positive change to be made. He's being an a-hole in this situation for standing his ground so hard on getting you guys food, and that's not something you kids should have to deal with if there are other options available to you. So I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. And OP adds some edits and says, I'm not calling CPS on my dad, so y'all can stop suggesting that. He's trying his best. Edit, I sent my dad the post. He finally came to his senses. We're going to start applying for benefits tonight. And edit, for those of you asking about my education, I'm planning on getting my GED in May and starting community college in the fall. Now in the comments, Geek Egg says, not the a-hole. That crap ain't normal, and he's under a lot of stress. Likely hates feeling that you already had to drop out of school and that he's not cutting it as a man. But he's got to get past it, and maybe this was the kick in the ass he needed. And edit, so proud of you and your dad for taking one hard step after another. Glad he decided to accept some help. Wish you both the best. Not the a-hole, you're right. It's just his stupid pride, and you're sacrificing a lot for your family right now before you're even a legal adult. The least you deserve is some decent meals. I'm heartbroken for any parent in the situation he's in, but he needed to have it pointed out to him that it's pretty silly for him to think that letting his kids go without food and nutrition and education leaves him with more pride than using the social safety nets that he pays into out of each paycheck. He's making life harder for all of his kids, especially OP, unnecessarily. Yeah, I agree. It's this old-fashioned idea that if you need to go on government assistance, you're a lazy sponge, mooching off of people. But clearly, if this guy's working 2 jobs, he's not lazy. I said it in another comment, but I'll say it again. It's not his fault corporations are allowed to pay people so little they can work full-time and still need government assistance. He's not a bad father. He just needs to realize how illogical he's being here. Posted by user dadof36432. Titled, Am I the a-hole for saying my daughter can't keep calling everything and everyone she dislikes creepy? So my daughter is 15, and my sons are 9 and 6. And as a family, we have some house rules about how we speak about others. Like both things, like you can't cuss at people or use profanity, but also stuff about speaking with kindness and not talking about people as fat or stupid or things like that. Recently, my daughter has practically had creepy as her favorite word. She'll call everything she doesn't like creepy, including our neighbor who keeps track of which cars are in our neighborhood and who they belong to. Not in an invasive way. I like that they look out for the community's safety. The Pledge of Allegiance as a concept. It's creepy and culty to chant at the flag, she says. A cashier in the grocery store who complimented her coat. A teacher who wants cameras on and virtual backgrounds off in Zoom classes because it's creepy her teacher can see her room. Anyone over 18 who still uses the TikTok app. The main character in the Great Gatsby book, the app next door and anyone who uses it, and the neighbor who sits on their porch and says hi when she walks the dog. Anyways, our younger ones are picking up on this too, and they're using it as a way to insult people without seeming to know what it really means. Like, if they're bickering, they'll just be calling each other that. So I told all the kids that creepy, or a creep, used as an insult to a person is going to go on the no-no list, and a few times I chastised them for using it. During this, my wife was visiting her mum, and when she came back and we were talking about how I made creepy a new no-no word for the kids, she got furious with me. She was angry because she said that I was taking away our kids, but especially our daughter's ability to express discomfort with anything in their lives. And that girls especially are taught not to make a fuss if someone is making them uncomfortable, and that giving those messages of, "You're not allowed to say that you feel creeped out," is teaching her a horrible, dangerous lesson. And that we should be encouraging her to put words to her discomfort, and that she wanted our daughter to always be okay saying she doesn't feel good about something, and learn how to communicate that effectively. That I should have invited her to elaborate and respected her opinions instead of shutting her down. I told her that it doesn't seem like she's talking about actual issues. She's just using that word as a way to speak badly of people when the reasons are so petty. My wife got really frustrated with me and said that if our daughter was saying this stuff, we needed to be teaching her that she should be able to express it and should be taught that us as her parents will take her seriously. We left the conversation at that point, and I'm taking some time to think right now. Am I the a-hole for having told our daughter and 2 sons to not call people creepy? I can understand banning and censoring other derogatory words that can damage minority groups and have serious social implications for the kids if they're repeated. But I can't understand the banning of the word creepy from the house, and I agree with your wife that banning it is taking away your daughter's ability to say that she's uncomfortable with something, and you definitely should be encouraging her instead of punishing her for doing so. Do you just not want her to voice her concerns if she's ever in a rough patch, or feels like she can't trust you with things that could potentially be dangerous for her? Because you're headed down that road if you continue. I think you should listen to your wife in this situation. She seems to have first-hand experience with this one and is recognizing that you're lacking some empathy towards your daughter here. I'm going with you're the a-hole. And in the comments, Ding the Witch is Deaf says, "You lost me when your explanation of the first guy did sound pretty creepy. You're the a-hole." Agreed. Sorry, but some of the things you listed are creepy. Yup, the Pledge of Allegiance is a concept, and chanting the flag? She's not wrong. As a European, I find it intensely disturbing that American kids pledge their allegiance to the flag. Opie's daughter just needs a thesaurus. Not gonna lie, I didn't realize that a lot of places in America do it. It feels like it was just a meme from movies, and now that meme's been taken too far. The most patriotic thing we do here is sing the Australian national anthem at school assembly, but you guys are like, every morning we're pledging allegiance to a flag? I don't know, Chief, that kind of seems weird. You're the a-hole. I think your daughter is right about a large portion of that list, and your wife is right that she should be encouraged to express herself in an appropriate manner. Yeah, she's literally just learning how to express her opinions. You're the a-hole. When I was reading your list of creepy examples, I found them all creepy except the cashier and the lady saying hi from her porch. I suppose TikTok is arguable. Just because you don't find things creepy as an adult man does not mean your young daughter will agree. Especially in these crazy times. I'd encourage my children to listen to their creep radar, not chastise them for expressing it. I hope your kids never find themselves in situations with a badly intended adults, because you just taught them to ignore their instincts about it. You're the a-hole. Here's the thing that you might not truly understand, but your wife does. It's so common for men to engage in predatory behavior towards girls your daughter's age, that it's overwhelmingly likely she has already been the target of sexual harassment or assaults. Catcalling that turns into F you then beer if she doesn't respond the way someone wants. Men trying to cop a feel in a crowded bus or elevator, friends or boyfriends who pressure her if she doesn't want what they want from her, or spread rumors that they slept with her, teachers and coaches leering at her or making sexually charged comments. It is everywhere. It's so common that most girls will shrug 90% of these encounters off as stuff they can't do anything about. So FFS, let her call people creepy. More than you realize they are. Posted by user Puzzleheadedmap222, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter it's her fault she has no pictures of herself?" Okay, so I, 54 female, have 5 kids. 3 bio, 2 step. The issue is with my eldest, Clem, who is 26 female. The only pictures I have of Clem are from the day that she was born to around her 8th birthday, but none after that. She would ruin any picture she was in by making funny faces, hiding from the camera, making weird signs with her hands, or by messing with other people. It was like this until she was 12, when she started to straight up refuse. We would tell her to come for the family photo, but she would refuse. We never forced her, but would gently encourage her. She even refused school pictures. I have no pictures of birthdays, graduations, prom photos, holidays, or days out with her in them. It broke my heart because I don't have any pictures of her growing up. Family photos look odd because she's not in them. Clem is 26 now and is pregnant with her first child. She brought her significant other over for dinner, and after we were looking at photo albums. We got to hers, and she saw hers was nearly empty. She asked where all her pictures were, and I told her she refused to have any taken. She got all teary-eyed and told me to stop joking. At this point, I'm very annoyed. I tell her I'm not joking and that she did this to herself. I told her if she had swallowed her pride and had even one picture, we wouldn't be like this today. She got angry and thought that I'd printed out the ones she had messed up. She got super upset and went to sit in the car. The next day, today, I got a few texts from family members calling me an a-hole for putting her on blast and humiliating her. Am I the a-hole? Look, you could have phrased it better in all honesty because, from the outside looking in, it seems like you all of a sudden just got annoyed at her and started having a go at her. You probably could have phrased what you said a bit nicer, but you can't change what's done now. She's also got a point there that you did take some of those photos and refused to print them. Even if they were silly, there's a lot of character in dumb faces of kids, regardless of how serious you're trying to make the photo. I do think ultimately this is her fault though, as she point blank refused to have any photos taken of her. She should definitely remember that. It's not like she has memory loss or anything that would just clear the last however many years it's been since you've had a photo of her taken and printed. It seems as though this may be a sore point you two have hit on before and continues to be a point of contention. But really, I think that's her fault for continuing to refuse, as I'm sure you tried your hardest to get her to cooperate. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole for this one. Now, OP put some edits in the post and says, "Thank you for all your replies. I do want to clear something up. Whilst I agree it was a crappy move not to include goofy or rude pictures, that's not what Clem has an issue with. She's upset that I have no pictures of her from ages of 12 to 18 to fill the album with, and the few I do have caused extreme reactions from Clem. I can't fill an album with pictures I never took. That's what she's upset about, not the omission of goofy or rude photos." And edit 2, to those of you who are saying, who cares about rude gestures or goofy faces, I didn't realize this needed saying, but the family photos weren't just for me. They were for everyone involved. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents on all sides, etc. I can guarantee that none of them want an 8-year-old making the eat out gesture in what is meant to be a nice family photo. And edit 3, it's kinda sad to see so many people assume that because a child has anxiety, that I berate them whenever they mess around when taking a photo. I never yelled at Clem for making silly faces. I would simply encourage her to stop and smile, but her rude gestures and faces would ramp up. But I guess that's what you expect on this sub. Everyone hates their kids. What? Now in the comments, individualad9213 says, "Not the a-hole, but why not just give her the old negatives that you did not print so that she can see for herself?" That's a good idea. They're on my computer, so it's not like I deleted all the photos of her. The issue was that she made some rude gestures or poses in many of them, which I'm obviously not comfortable putting on the wall. She does know that she messed up pictures with her gestures and poses, and obviously can't forget about her aversion to cameras, so I don't know why she was so surprised. I think it would be a nice gesture if you made her a little album of all of them, even if they are ridiculous. It's not that there are no pictures, it's that there are no traditionally nice pictures. They still show her at various ages and show how she was. I was the same way growing up and also have very few. The ones that exist are silly, but I love them. And OP replies, "I agree, I'll do that." Sounds like pregnancy has made her sentimental. I'm guessing the reality that she has nothing to show her child of her life is catching up to her now. If she didn't want to take the picture then, there should be no surprise when there is no picture. I did something similar to OP's daughter when I became a teen, due to feeling awful about myself. The logic was that if I looked ugly in the picture by pulling a face, at least it was due to the face, not just me looking ugly. And my parents simply kept sneaking pictures of me while I wasn't looking, and sternly told me that they wouldn't take the picture again, and I had to not pull a face this time. At the time, I was so annoyed about it, but now as an adult, it's something I really cherish, to be able to share these pictures with my future children. OP's daughter, however, will never get that, and never get a chance to fix it. I can sympathize a lot with how she's likely feeling right now. This is so interesting because as a teenage girl, I went through a similar thing. Really hated pictures of myself, even removed all the mirrors in my house. Being a teenage girl is so difficult. I hate the pictures that my mother took of me during this time. They're so fake and posed. I look so unhappy. I have no interest in them. The ones my friends took of me where I'm laughing or making a face show my personality at that time a lot better, which is the point of photos, I think. I personally think it's a little stupid that OP here took such an issue with a teenager acting like a teenager and essentially deleted her from the family for not performing in this way. OP cared more about her family's perception than her daughter's feelings and memories. Sounds like she's more than willing to rectify it, so that's great at least. And edit, from my reading, this behavior started around 8 to 9 years old, so there were several intervening years between the beginning of making face and hand gestures and the straight-up refusal to be in pictures at all. My guess for that change is that OP's daughter just got sick of being fussed at for 3 to 4 years and changed her strategy to refusing to be in pictures at all. Alright guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you need a good laugh, please do check out my second channel, Markee 2, links down in the description below, or it's going to appear somewhere on the screen here at the end, little bubble with my face on it. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon and channel members. Your faces are surrounding me right now, and I love to have you guys with me, and down in the comment sections of each and every video, and just knowing that you're always there to support me. It's a humbling and lovely feeling. And rest assured, I do see you, and I do notice your support, and I thank you every day for being here and helping me along this journey. Not much else to say besides that, guys. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I do hope that you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I will see you in the next video, and thank you again. Bye.